But nah, get back. We was talking about OBJ. We was talking about the
There's
contract.
so many thoughts I have about this. Get paid.
Yeah, he got paid. He definitely got paid.
If somebody's throwing 95 in my face, 65 guaranteed. I'm not turning it down.
But my question is he is deserving of that money, yes. But what does that money mean? That's the question. What does that mean for OBJ? Because at the end of the day, is he the best receiver in the NFL? My point would be no. But how do you guys feel about that?
Well, from my understanding, is like he had a press conference and he said something not to me, but like to the media, and I don't want to say it rubbed me the wrong way, but it did.
Oh, I didn't even get to see the press conference.
He's basically saying, getting this deal done was, weight off his shoulders. Cool,
Okay.
which it is, because he's been nagging about it pretty much all season. But I think before him it was Mike Evans who had the highest paid receiver contract.
I think he was.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest deal.
So now that he topped him, he's like, he feels though now that he got the deal done, he can play it 100%. You see what I'm saying?
I see why that rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah,
that's half stepping because you wasn't getting enough money. Instead of saying, I'm gonna dominate to show you why you should.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we was talking about. Julio Jones, like he was doing basically the same thing. He was holding out, but what did he do? He showed up.
Right.
He's gonna ball and let you know, like, yo, I'm gonna show you my money.
Who's a bigger name?
Julio.
Do we really want to go on that right now?
I'm asking. I'm not saying. I'm saying who's a bigger brand?
Now, see, now that's different.
That's what I mean.
Bigger brand is
That's what I
OBJ.
mean.
Bigger brand, OBJ.
OBJ.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I was going to talk about since you said that, was that they didn't just invest in one of the most electrifying players in the NFL. They invested in his media.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
They invested. They know that his generation, what's he about, 24?
Yeah, actually,
He's
yeah.
young.
He's young.
That generation is all about visual. It's all visual.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What is he doing now? Where is he at? With like,
Oh, he's at the club, or he's at the pool.
he's hanging out at Drake's house.
But that's what
Playing
that's
soccer
what we
with
was talking about,
Neymar,
because
all that.
we was talking about that with music. Like we already talked about that.
Right.
Like back in the day, you couldn't be on social media all the time and be like, "Yo, we in the studio with Money Carson, we working."
Yeah.
It was like I talked to Kwame. I don't know if you remember Kwame,
Rapper.
the rapper.
Yeah.
Like I talked to him and I'm like, he's like, well, what? And I told him, I said, my perception is back in the day, like you cut an album, you're dropping the album, you're on tour. You can't. Oh, we on tour right now.
Mm-hmm.
We live in, like social media kind of. And players like OBJ take advantage of it.
right.
Like I'm in that spotlight, like yo, we in the studio.
Yeah.
All right, what's OBJ doing? And now all of a sudden you got 5 million followers, and
Yeah. It's fan build up. And the Giants see that. The more kids or whoever can relate to it, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, oh I know him. Even if you don't know football, you know who Cornell is.
Because he stays.
You know the catch.
Yeah.
All the kids.
Yeah. Randy Moss is Odell now.
All the little Instagram
That's
videos
true.
that speculate certain things.
Still keeping my hot top.
Yeah.
He's getting hands for the brand.
I mean, on the athletic point, he did deserve me. He was the first player, I think, to reach 300 receptions. He has over 1,000 yards, 4 years, and 10 touchdowns maybe a year. He earned it. His antics is what got people thinking like it's worth it.
And see, going back to that statement you said, how it rubbed you the wrong way, you said, now I can be 100%.
Yeah.
The first thing that pops into my mind is that Green Bay Packers game. The first thing that pops into my mind, because I'm like, where were you? Where were you that first half? Where were you? Where were the Giants that first half? Oh, y'all was still on the boat.
I was
That's
saying,
what
we need you by that.
yeah, y'all was still on the boat, So it's just like, how now are we not gonna? Now, mind you, last year we didn't have that issue. There was no issue with that whatsoever. I'm sure they partied, I'm sure they did all that, but it wasn't posted up on media, all that kind of stuff, so people would come at them and be a distraction for the whole team. But it's just like, why say that to the fans, especially New York fans? I know one thing: Philadelphia fans will rip their team. New York fans will rip their team. They just the same way. Yeah, the NFC East, we all do it, right?
The West Side, I'm 49ers fan. We semi-goofy.
Oh, see, that's Chris there, right, too. Y'all be good buddies right there with that. You know, I'm sure Jimmy Garoppolo, and look, I like the 49ers this year too, but that division will be tough as well.
Yeah.
Arizona's actually looking like they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you always got Seattle, but then, I mean, the big elephant in the room is the Rams. Let's see what they're going to
But
do.
you know what? Everybody looks on paper.
That's true. That's true.
It's what that the field says a lot about a lot of people.
Oh, I hear that. You know, but I think the Rams, though, how you feel about the Rams on a quick note? Because they looking good. You seen them preseason
I
games
seen a
too? That
couple of
defense
them.
looks. Ooh.
I've seen some sketchy things, but I've also seen like, you know, yeah, all right. I've seen more out of Arizona than I've seen out of Rams.
That's me. That's why I like Arizona. That's why I
Seattle
like
just cloud
Arizona.
at this point. Seattle just, you know, it's the name, but they demanded it done. They ain't going on.
I feel bad for Russell on that though. He don't
I
deserve
know.
that. You think? Why not?
First of all, rival.
Nah, yeah, that's true. That's
Second
true.
of all,
As a fan, talking as a fan of football.
I like seeing the little guy making.
Ah.
but no, I always say like his best plays are extended plays.
Yeah.
I don't see too many plays where, you know, it was drawn up to be that way.
Like straight pocket passes,
Yeah,
just
not
straight
too-
dissecting, like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, just
You know,
eating somebody up. Nah, I hear you. I've seen games with Russell like that, but you're right at the same time. When you think of Russell Wilson, you think escaping the pocket, making something happen out of nothing. Even though that's what makes him great, but you know, I mean, but they ain't never had a whole line.
Russell, you the Eagles fan, like.
But I'm a fan
y'all
of
got-
football.
I understand that, but let's dig into some of my specifics. So,
Okay.
Like, you got Nick Foles and Wentz
Oh yeah.
sitting, you know, side by side.
Mm-hmm.
I said, me personally, that if the Eagles don't play their cards right, they say they don't have egos, and that's fine, but everybody wants to play.
Nick Foles
Wentz might say some things
Who should
where
they go with? Who's starting?
See, my thing
that's
is.
the problem.
My thing is this right now when you watch the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is the straight objective take on it. Our offensive line does not look like the offensive line of last year.
That's because,
I mean, Peters isn't playing.
nah.
Vaitai,
Vaitai always been etchy.
he always has been etchy, and then now it's kind of showing up a little bit more. Jason Kelsey actually injured himself in this last preseason game, so we'll see how that goes. And Lane Johnson really ain't giving you what you thought he was going to give you. And Brooks has had back issues his whole life. So now you're looking at that O-line like last year it looked dominant. This year it's looking kind of like, now it's a preseason, so we'll see when the regular season comes in and everybody's into it and they got the games under their belt and all that. But if we don't have that O-line, then forget what Nick Foles did last year. Because people think that Nick Foles, I know Nick Foles is this. He had a 27-2 season. I saw that season with Chip Kelly. He was great that year. I saw the next season when he was allocated the starter, and he actually had a decent season until he got hurt. But the thing was, he was running for his life the whole time. Our O-line couldn't protect him. And then after he got traded, he ended up going to the Jeff Fisher thing, and we all know what that was. Jeff Fisher was not the best thing for anybody in St. Louis.
How did he keep a job?
Who
He
knew?
finally got fired. How did he
Who
keep a
knew?
job?
I have no idea. Right? Like everybody, like it was just a name. It was like, oh, you hired Jeff Fisher. Cool. You be 8-8, and we're good with it. You know, that's what they thought. But Nick Foles was one of the guys that suffered. I mean, Case Keenum was one of them. He was under that same regime, and then look what he did last year in Minnesota. You know, so if we can't even protect Nick Foles, it's not even an argument to me, because you have to have Carson out there because he's the only one that can move. But then you don't even want him out there with an O-line that can't protect him with a bad knee.
Yeah, knock him off that knee. Do you think it has anything to do with winning?
To me, honestly, absolute. A Super
Vaitai
Bowl-
said it. He said he was being honest. He took a lot of slack for that, but I think he said a lot of things that a lot of players
Look,
feel.
the defense looks very good. I don't think the defense lost a step, and I'm being serious with that. The defense looks like that same defense, but then when you look at the offense, a lot of guys are hurt, and we understand that. But Super Bowl, man, you coming off one. I was at the parade. That was wow. I don't. Philadelphia ain't never had nothing like that. Even the Phillies parade, I know that was big and huge, but Man, that Eagles parade was something else. And so I can imagine how them
A
players
lot of
went with
kids
it and all that.
Coming out of Philly soon.
Man,
A lot
yo,
of kids.
I bet. And they gonna be named after a bunch of them Eagles players too. Watch. But definitely the Super Bowl hangover, I think it's definitely real. And then our offensive line is a real deal. That's a real issue. And we gotta address that. If we don't, we ain't even gonna be thinking about coming back. And believe me, I want us to go back to back. But if we ain't get that fixed, what we gonna do?
I don't see it happen. That's just me personally. I
You
don't see
know?
it happen. No.
And Carson Wentz, even if it doesn't, right? Carson Wentz is the best fixer for that issue because he can move and he can get out. You know, he can get out the way and do all that. But then, like we were saying, you don't want to even put him in that situation where he just tore his ACL and LCL last year. You know, so it's a whole conundrum right now for us. But hey, we're gonna try to make it
I
work.
just think the fans and the media is going to talk a lot more about who makes that decision than you think.
Yeah, I think they will too. Look, I'm from the Philadelphia fans here. They're gonna talk. They're gonna talk about it. So I know that's gonna be up there. I'm just like, I hope that Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, the thing that they've been talking about, being friends and not having that issue, I hope that's real. I hope it's real. You know.
They like me in French, they be good.
You think so?
There you go.
No ego. There's
Oh.
really no ego.
Oh yeah. Eagles destroyed everything.
There was 1 week where we flew to Cali. Excuse me, for me. So, and then after the Cali trip, we came right home, and Jay Biggs had a show. So I went from being the center of attention to Jay Biggs hype man. And then the next day, B. White had to DJ something. So I went from the center of attention to Biggs hype man. Biggs went from my hype man to the center of attention, and then we both turned around that third day, and we were our DJ's road. We packed equipment.
Oh, nah, see, but that's how the team works.
Yeah, we flew to Cali. There was one point in that video with T. Dot in front where I was holding it like I was tall enough after a little while, but I'll do it. You know
You
what I'm
talking about the
saying?
wide joint?
Yeah, the wide
Oh
joint.
man, that was
So you know, there's no ego. If they can do that, if they really have no ego and they're not just talking for the press, they'll be fine.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. That they really don't have an ego. Like they support each other. I'm just, like I said, fans talk. You know,
Yeah, we do.
the front office listens. Like,
And Nick Foles has not been looking good this preseason.
nah,
I
he
would
looks
say
but
that.
no, I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks look good either. Jeremy didn't look too good.
You know who has looked good to me, and I can't even lie. From watching Kirk Cousins, man. I don't even know why this man, but
We got him week 1.
he's looking really good. Like I don't even know. He got that Minnesota team all together is looking good. I'm even like in Chicago, the Chicago Bears. I mean, I know you got a tough division there with Minnesota and Green Bay, but they're doing some things. I mean, and with the addition of Kevin White coming back, the receiver they drafted a couple of years ago, and now looking like he's fully healthy. They look like
a bust too.
Yeah, and they look like a whole nother team because they have that wide receiver now that's at number 1. They don't have to really question that. And everyone else has a role now. So the offense looks like it's complete, and they already have a defense. Shout out to DH who came on a couple of weeks ago, said Chicago was going to win the division at 10-6. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think he actually had a good little point because the more I watch them, the better they look. So, you know, it's like there are teams out there right now that are looking like they're going to surprise. Shoot, the Cleveland Browns.
I knew you were going to say that.
I can't even. I'm not saying that they're going to win the division. I'm not saying they're going to be better than the Ravens or the Steelers. But I will say that they ain't going to be the doldrum of the NFL anymore. They're not.
I said that you got 6-10.
See, that's winning for the Browns, and I can't. It's not a slight. It's not a slight. That is winning for the Browns. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you are winning games for them and that organization, and to save Hugh Jackson's job, yeah, I think that's a win.
I think that's why the organization is going to implode. Is Hugh Jackson.
You think so? You don't think he's the right fit?
It's his demeanor. I've been watching the Hard Knocks, and I don't bang with that demeanor.
Yeah.
His demeanor, it comes off like how we talk about Jeff Fisher, like he's Hugh Jackson. Like that's how it comes off to me. But I mean, overall, I think they drafted well. They picked up crazy. I don't know how they picked up.
Yeah.
They picked up. You know, picking up Flash.
I mean,
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry was a good one, you know, at the same time, too, on the defensive side. Tyrod Taylor is a good sustainer, even though I think Baker is probably going to end up being the starter.
I think about week 4.
But it's a shame for Tyrod, because I like Tyrod.
He's your poor man's Vic. Nothing against Vic.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like your poor man's Vic. Like, you know, you get somebody with wheels, you get somebody with a decent arm. I don't know how reading defense is with him. I don't see it too well. I think he makes some wild decisions.
Yeah.
But I mean, Baker Mayfield, he I would say that Baker Mayfield is what Johnny Manziel was supposed to be.
Yes.
That's what I say. Baker Mayfield is.
That's what I wanted to talk about because Browns never have any luck. So does Baker Mayfield actually change their luck?
Yeah, because he had the Russell Wilson mindset, but he can stand in the pocket. He'll take the hit and make the play.
But it seems like it's not even about what like they're the only team that gets like Johnny Manziel, and the next season he's like a big
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean? He got off the court issues.
I mean, look at the Josh Gordon effect with the Browns. If the Browns get Josh Gordon, no issues this year, no issues at all, and they get a full Josh Gordon for the whole year, then you might even have to say that they can compete with some of these teams because they already got a defense. They got a running game.
They always have
Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon.
You get the players and then they get injured.
That's the issue.
That's the issue there too, right?
Because 49ers, right?
Yeah,
So Carlos Hyde hurt when he yeah. All right, yeah. That's how I felt.
So many cars. So what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about that tour?
Yeah, when he left, that hurt because I knew, just like every other fan knew, what he could be.
Mm-hmm.
He could be that power run. He's Frank Gore, 6 foot 230, basically. He gets skinny and explode, and that's what he does.
Right.
And he's been doing it all preseason. Like he's just been racking up them numbers and just looking nice.
Where is he now too?
Huh?
I forget. I know he's somewhere and he's actually doing well.
Cleveland.
That's right.
With
Yep.
the Browns, 3-year deal.
Yep.
So they got him for a little bit.
And that's wild right there. See, that just adds to my point. Cleveland right there, man. Those acquisitions that they made, somebody's doing a good job. Dorsey, right? That's a new GM, I think. Dorsey. He's doing a good job with that team.
I'm saying they're gonna implode.
I always admire people that know the coaches' names and all that. I can't do that.
Thank you.
I've always admired that.
See, we're on the same page. I'm like, y'all getting Howard to talk.
It's the sports though, man. I don't even know. It's like it's just a love for sports.
You want to know who's running the ship, man.
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
know on the opposing team who's running that ship.
The outside linebacker.
Because think about it, like if you're like if you're as a 49ers fan, if you want to know why the 49ers are so bad, let's say if they're so bad, then you look at who's running my organization? Why do we always hear things from the Dallas Cowboys? Why? Chris, answer that question. Why do you always hear something from the Dallas Cowboys?
It's America's team.
Yeah.
Who said it was America's team?
It was that. Who was it? It was
Jerry Jones.
Nah, it wasn't Jerry.
But he repeated the fact.
It was did he used to call the games, or was he on the radio?
I forget.
Wait a minute. Do you know this answer?
No, I don't.
Oh, because if you did, I was gonna be overly.
This
nigga's the goat.
No, but I just know I was just using that as this thing to say Jerry Jones is this personality with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole thing where they're America's team, and then you have the whole thing God opened the roof so that he can watch the team and all this stuff in Dallas Stadium and all that.
Take these L's.
But when you think of the Dallas Cowboys, there are certain people you think of, and Jerry Jones is one. And especially nowadays, Jerry Jones is, whatever he says, you hear it. I mean, look at the anthem protest stuff. When you heard about the negative stuff, you don't even hear about the Miami Dolphins stuff with what they're doing to their team. You hear more about what Jerry Jones said about how his team, if they come out there, then they're going to be suspended or this or that.
But don't you find that hypocritical?
Absolutely.
Especially when you have a full-blown picture of him taking a knee with the team.
Absolute. But you know what that is? That's money and that's pressure.
That bread. Yeah. Somebody came up to the American Hustle. They sat with him. They kicked the suitcase over and said, "Get right, boy."
Yeah. That's exactly it. But that's all I was saying there. Just how what you think about a team, you think about that person. And Jerry Jones is one of them types to me. He definitely is.
Yeah, man.
That's why we like talking
It's
about
also
who runs the team.
with the coaches now too. I mean, I always said about we want to go back to Seattle with Pete Carroll.
Oh yeah.
I say he's losing his team because they're getting up there in age. He came from an organization where, you played for Virginia, you played at Cowboys, so certain players, obey and are listening in to coaches.
Right.
But at what point in time did you say, I'm not listening to, like, what are you saying now?
Unfortunately, I did that my whole 9. So.
Well, all right, well, so you're a different breed, but I'm just saying, like, from the
Nah, I
players
know what
around
you're
you,
saying. Yeah.
how soon would it be like, yo, like,
I ain't with it.
yeah.
At some point, you lose a whole lot.
It comes with the age. It really does come with the age. Me, that's just my personal opinion. Like, as they got older, they was like, yo, you really don't know how to, I'm not saying coach, but you can't coach me. I know what I'm doing at this point. And I think Pete Carroll also was, he wants kids that, you know, he can talk to, like college players. So
Yeah.
the younger you are, the easier it is for him. As you get older, it gets difficult, and I can't control you because you're literally a grown-ass man now.
I mean, look how many people have left Seattle in the sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Richard Sherman, Marcus Smith, you know, Earl Thomas talking like he wants to leave
He
as
wants
soon as
to go.
possible. You know, I mean, you've got all these star players that are just
Allison,
like,
too.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you already know, like, once you get to a certain point, I don't know how y'all feel about it with being every coach, because I mean we had Mike Singletary. It wasn't the greatest, but you see how
Oh,
he
yeah,
talked,
okay.
you know how he talked to his players.
Okay, Singletary, I do know.
You know what though? I would say, oh, you know Singletary. You know that
Come on,
man.
who don't know the 85 Bears?
And you know what? Actually, it's funny. My coaches in high school, and even my coaches throughout my whole life, whatever I did in sports, were kind of like the Mike Singletary type.
See?
And I gotta admit, it was just like, you know, you get used to that style of coaching.
Yeah.
You get used to somebody talking to you like that.
Yeah.
But you know, in the back of your mind, you know, all they doing is pushing you. And when you come out of it, you're like, oh wow, thank you. Like, thank you for pushing me that hard because I didn't know I could do that.
Right.
You know, but it's a different style. It's just a different style.
Like the coach I had was pretty much the same way, you know, in the weight room, screaming, yelling at you.
Mhm.
You know, it becomes just it's muscle memory after a while. But like I tell you what, when I left the team early, that same coach that was cussing me out during the tour days also put me to the side and said, look, I understand you've been through whatever your situation is. I'm not going to yell at you in front of the team because I know at the end of the day, I said, I understand.
Yeah.
So they get it, but you know, at the same time, it's an alpha thing.
Yeah.
And like it's also like this is life. I'm not just yelling at you because I need to or because it's football or basketball or I don't know. Like I know dance coaches probably yell at some of them too. See, like
This is what I did in the weight room in college. I waited for coach to look at me. I'm like,
now see,
stop bugging him.
the last thing he did that got a 45-pound weight like thrown at him like yeah. So
They did this thing to me. They called it a 6:30, where they tried to wake me up at 6:30 in the morning to make me run 6 miles. And I ran 4 laps, and the coaches was drinking their coffee, laughing, until I bust that 4th turn and ran to my dorm and got my car and went to the airport.
Ah.
Got a $99 one-way flight home. My mom and dad made me go back, but I tried to run away. They were going to kill me out there, though. That D1 thing ain't no joke, bro.
Oh, no, it's not.
Bro.
That's what people don't get. Like,
Yo.
like everybody be like, yo, if I played,
no.
no. Somebody like posted a question in the NBA group this week, and they were like, if you played in the NBA, what do you think you get average? I said, if I played, I'd probably put up 4 points a game, 2 open shots.
Nice.
And they're like,
If you get them 2 open shots, I know boys like I was thinking more like 2. Like I'll be out there if I get that look.
Like one
Yo.
no.
Think about Kevin Durant coming at me real quick. I'm trying to take a jump shot. I don't know.
Me and Carson about the same age. Like I'm not revealing ages, but we around the same age. You know you could get open in 1 or 2 shots.
Fact.
You can still bust out a move like alright, I got the nigga.
There's no way I'm not gonna score. I know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Real talk.
Like you
I'm
may
gonna
be,
get a bucket or 2.
I'm gonna be huffing and puffing, but
Yeah.
for that one play,
Definitely gonna throw up, but I'm gonna hit mine.
for that one play, I would not only put 25, I would.
Yeah, I mean I know same here,
I get the
bro.
rock, I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't want this responsibility.
You know what I'm saying? But people would come up and they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna put up 25 points.
Not happening.
No.
Never.
No.
That the same people probably wouldn't put up 25 in a varsity high school game, right?
Yeah,
It's
like-
not happening.
Like you're not you like, and football to me is a lot worse because of the fact there's so much. I look at football like it's a grueling workout. Like y'all
The
football
whole
players
practice.
Y'all
The whole
football.
practice.
No.
I mean, the one thing about football that's different than basketball, I think, is like your eyes got to be on point.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You
I've
gotta-
been blindsided a few times.
Yeah, man, like, because you always got to like say, keep your head on the
Listen,
swivel.
That's why I chose basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
Shout out to West Hampton Tech who didn't have a football team, so I didn't have to go
you
out.
didn't have to
But-
choose.
You know, like, I don't want to put his name out there, but I'm gonna put him out there, my brother. You know who he is. Like, he was blessed to be able to play for Wesley.
Okay.
He got his opportunity, and I told him, like, you already won because you already came off of end of a school year where your coach would not vouch for you to play at these schools. He told you, I was like, he went from one to write you a letter of recommendation to not want to do it. Yeah. So I mean, you already proved him wrong, he already told you, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, going off of what he's saying, when you know, if you were to get into the pros, what would you do? I'm gonna tell you, it's a whole different field. You play D1, it's a whole different atmosphere, let alone the speed. I never played basketball. I watched it, my dad played it, I observed it, but played it, not so much. When it came to football, JUCO was a different speed. D1 and D2, D3, all of it is different speed. So if you think you can leave where you came from back in days and get to a D1 school and say you want to dominate your line.
Yeah, that speed thing is real. I remember the first freshman scrimmage I ever had. I only played the first 2 quarters. I had 22 at the half. And this man came and got me and took me to the JV scrimmage. For the second half of their scrimmage, we was doing Holy Cross. And just from playing that half to playing that next half, the second half was mad. But then by the second time I got back to JV, I handled it and it was fine. But then they pulled me out of that scrimmage at halftime and took me to the varsity, and it was like, and I'm like, Jesus,
Hold on,
who
man.
plays basketball? This is like,
That's what
it's
I'm saying,
real.
like football, basketball, whatever. You go up a level, the whole game
It
changes.
changes.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Yeah, that's real. That's real.
And my boy, like, me and him, like, we work out together. Like, I say he's fast. Like, he is fast. To me, he's fast.
Yeah.
And I'm quick. But they say he ran like a 4.5 40. Like, you know, that's fairly well.
That's
actually
good.
pretty well. That's pretty well. That'll get you by.
Right.
But when you get to a position, a situation where your linebacker is 6'3", 240 pounds, running 4.5s,
Yeah.
and you know you got other guys who can catch you, like the line can run at least 4.7. Like who was the boy? He plays for Seattle now.
D-line.
He just got drafted.
Oh, Shaq Griffin.
Shaq Griffin. Are they twins? Or he's a young?
No, he has an older brother.
Who plays free safety, right?
Right, I think,
Also,
yeah.
cousin Eddie. Eddie Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
This guy's
man.
just as bad as me. Like this might have to be the squad every week. You might have to take that drive every
Just
week.
one day, dog. I want to be down. Casey, yeah. What about it?
He ran a 4.36 40 as a linebacker.
Yeah. He's a light linebacker, though, too. He is
But
a
what's
light
light?
linebacker.
What do you call light? As
I
a
know, I'm
linebacker?
saying, like,
I mean,
he's...
I'm light as a receiver. I'm light.
I hear you. Like, look, it's like he's 220. They want to like your normal size of linebacker would be what, 235, 230. I mean, it like 15, 10 pounds. But like, even if you look at these guys, like 220, and you that size, what are you, like 6'4", 6'3", like that size, you are huge.
Yeah.
Like, no lie, you are freaking huge. So I mean, pause. So it's like that's all just like how to actually be in that lane and actually get hit by somebody like that. Forget the fact he ain't got a hand. I don't want to get hit by
Yeah,
him.
period. He coming at me like a rocket.
Right.
I said, you got two speed objects about to collide.
That's
That's never a good thing.
no,
The
no.
law of the figures tells you every time.
It's a funny story. I work out in PHL. One time I saw Eddie George walking through security.
See, that's the last person I want to see, even every time.
Hey yo, I saw this man. I swear to God, like it put an understanding into me on how what size you have to really be to play in the NFL. Yeah, it really did.
That's the thing, like I'm sure Trey here, he could probably attest to this. Like, you play somebody you know is going into the league, you suddenly see that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like I
Happened to me once.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I talked about it a couple times, but like when I played Kobe, like this was back in high school. Nobody knew who Kobe Bryant was.
You actually played like you.
Like he was out. He used to practice out of BCC. So the boys I played with, they was like, "Yo, this dude Kobe Bryant's out of BCC. Let's go wreck him." And he from Philly, you know, like, yeah, we gonna go wreck him. Yeah, Mike, you gonna stick him there, because you know Kobe's 6'6", 6'7". Mike was 6'4", and like he was a beast to us.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we get out there, and I'll never forget it because he embarrassed me. Like I'm like, yo, I'm a short point guard. I'm doing my Muggsy Bogues thing. I'm on point. Nah, my defense is on point. Like I may not score, but my defense. You got a problem. Kobe backs up. I got switched up on defense. I'm like, yeah, now it's time. Now it's up. He like lined me up, took the ball, dribbled it over my head. I was like,
That's when I realized.
that movie.
At Midnight Madness, I was playing in one of the younger games, and Kobe was playing in the senior or best of the best game, and that was the first time I seen somebody do a between the legs dunk in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fast break. He went baseline and put it between his legs.
Who was it? Somebody came to
I
my
have to walk
job.
off.
and
I'm
they-
sorry. I gotta walk
You
off.
know who got me like that? It was only one person, Ben Gordon. I used to never like to know who I was playing against. I used to give out work, aid, and all that. I kicked on Jameer Nelson. I kicked on Stevie Blake at the University of Maryland, bro. Like, real talk. Got footage in case they try to see this and say it ain't happened.
Yeah.
Got footage, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I was in a tournament somewhere, and I was playing against this dude, and he was so strong. I couldn't guard it. And I couldn't get mine. And I had handle too, and he was so strong. He was so good that my dad wasn't even mad that I had a bad game. Me and my dad both just couldn't wait for that game to be over, because we knew the next game somebody was going to get this work, because I was pissed. And then come to find out it was Ben Gordon. He's a little older than me, but you know, AAU is AAU.
Right.
Playing the best of the best. Yeah, he's the one guard that really got the best of me. And
People think of him as just a shooter.
no,
He wasn't just a
that's
shooter.
what he ended up doing.
Yeah.
What he did to get to the league, yo, he was a monster, bro. A monster.
There you go. See,
Something I had no idea.
me too.
He was
That,
problem, bro.
that's
All around,
crazy.
all around.
especially with a guy like him too. Just like I said, he was just in the league. You looked at him just as a shooter, and I feel like his career he never went to the right spot.
No, bro, you know how people play defense, you run right through that arm, right? I couldn't run through his arm. I could beat
He
him
was
off
jack-
that first step.
He was a jack guy.
But that arm had me like a vaxil. I'm like, God. Oh, be like, I couldn't go nowhere. I'm like, here, man, somebody else shoot. Not today for me.
That's wild. That's wild. So, and you know, it's funny, speaking of your Kobe thing, y'all Kobe thing, you know, it was Mamba Day, what, 8/24, right? 8/24?
Yeah.
Was the last day? It was that, and I've been seeing a whole bunch of Kobe stuff up there, and they've been talking about it. I saw this one thing. They always want to bring up Kobe and LeBron now because this LBJ to the Lakers thing. I just don't get it anymore. I'm just like, can we be past it?
No, I get it though, because you gotta remember, like you're talking about just like when Kobe almost went to Chicago.
Yeah, I remember that. That
Yeah,
was
you
like
remember
scary.
that? I completely forgot about it until
I
when
would
I
have
saw
been
it.
pissed.
That
would've
got
been pissed
scary.
If Kobe went to Chicago, I would have been pissed.
But see, Kobe and Michael are so
because
similar.
Kobe wanted to be Michael
Right.
so bad.
But like the thing was, like to me, it was like, yo, what if you don't live up to it?
Kobe got everything everyone wanted. You realize that? He got to be Mike. If he would have went to the Bulls, he would have officially been Mike. Like
So-
Mike, Vodka. Yes!
Yeah.
But you think, hold up, do you think he could have pulled off the same tricks?
Yeah.
You think he would have pulled off?
No.
You think he would have pulled off 6 rings?
No.
Oh, you talking about
No.
that?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
They would have
I-
had to go find somebody else like Pippen, somebody else like you would have had to recreate that same team.
Like that's how I feel.
Rose was there at that time. He was talking about getting that Chicago trip,
That
right?
wasn't
Nobody.
He got
You wasn't there
rubber
yet?
Damn.
No, I think that was before, because wasn't one of those the years where the Lakers, they went through like a 3-year stretch where they were
No,
like,
Shaq was still in LA.
it was
It was
that
like
time.
2003, 2004.
Oh, I do remember.
I
Yeah, remember?
that.
Because he even said like Shaq was on the team, and when they had the interview, he's like, yeah, I even bought a house out in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was earlier than I thought. I
Yeah.
thought, like, you know,
It was like
Rose had his,
2000, I wanna say, like,
Yeah, back before he got drafted in
2005,
the
the
beginning.
Bulls didn't have nobody.
But see, then you would have had to go through the East though too. you would have had to have more of a team. Than
But who was
Kobe at that time.
beast? Who was the beast in 2005? Let's think.
Detroit.
Okay, but that was
They had Chauncey and Rip.
Detroit.
I seen Rip play though, like two back in the day.
like that's what I'm saying. Was there ever that moment like, alright, so you saw Rick play, and you just like, yo,
I knew he was special.
yeah, like yo,
He was playing against Duncan. I was in there, and Julian Duncan, you know him?
I remember
That
him.
Fitz Davis, that's big homie, bro. That's big bro. Like I remember when I was in middle school one day, I used to take me to see him play in high school. He was that dude.
You might have
But
had him
I
come
was
through.
in an AU tournament and they were playing in the older division and we were done and I was watching Dunk play against Rick. And Rick was amazing.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like we good, but then you see somebody like,
And you know, he's gone. You know who I used to ball with? You guys ever heard of John Crispin? He went to UCLA.
I heard him.
I used to play with him too. His older brother, his dad should have been in the league. His dad was like 40, 50 years old. And we were like 15. His dad was kicking on us. His dad would come just bring some other guys and scrimmage us when we was playing. And I'm telling you, like, his dad should have went to the league. His dad was
See,
special.
I know you remember because I remember Wagner playing.
Yeah, I played against Wag. Played against Wag multiple times.
He was a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, check this out. I learned how to play basketball with Wag. Wag and y'all remember Aaron? Aaron was this two guard while Wag
Okay.
sophomore year. My mom used to teach at Bonzo when I was going to Bonzo. And then because my mom was a teacher, she would just stay there mad late, which I hated. Nobody wants to be stuck at school.
Yeah.
I would pop open the gym door and we used to ball. And that's how I started playing basketball. Like Aaron would slide in and he would bring Wag sometimes. Because Wag was young, but he always played up because he was like that. I remember we had a league and we were playing in Bonzo, and I think he was 2 grades below us, but he was still playing with us, and he was giving buckets. Like you knew he was going to be special when he was a little kid, like you knew. So yeah, that goes vouching for what you said. He was always like that.
Yeah.
He was young, and you're like, how is he out there? How is he doing that?
That was another person he was playing. He was like, oh, the Knicks were in the same. And you're looking at him like, dude, you playing in high school, the Knicks and the Hawks, and then all of a sudden you see him here like, oh.
JC came down to watch him play. I mean, AI came to watch him play. Like, that was special. That was real.
See, that's insane. I want to personally, my brother who passed away.
Oh, that's right, hear about that.
He was a phenomenal basketball player. Never got his chance, mainly because he was short. Like that's the excuse they were giving. Short, and I don't know, but throw the ball backboard. Yo, Coach Cena is mad, but he was literally. If you had anybody around my way, they'll tell you he was like the next Allen Iverson, the one ball off the blacktop.
Well, that's the way Wagner was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yo, and you know what? He was balling that last season he had in the.
Oh yeah. Was that the year that he had 100 points in the game?
No, that was high school. I'm talking about when he was at the Cavs.
Oh yeah.
His last season, he was coming into his own. He was comfortable. He was scoring. Niggas couldn't guard him. It was starting to get real. And then they got LeBron, and he still was playing good.
Yeah.
And then that's when he had the situation.
That would
He
have
was
been.
gonna be a whole nother breed, bro. He was gonna be a killer.
I mean, I seen him in the gym. He's still a killer.
Yeah, of course he is. You don't lose that.
Like people don't realize, like, is that?
You don't lose that. I can still shoot. I just got his stomach. You know what I'm saying? I led the nation in
I mean, but
for 2 seasons in college. Facts. Wow. Facts. 52.6%. Facts.
It's just different though. It's different playing an 82 game season.
Oh, absolutely. That'll
Like,
tell you what.
yeah, that like it's not like sometimes it's not even a question of whether you can play. It's can your body withstand it. And
Yo, you say that, and what's crazy was, I'm going to speak through a story because when I was 16, I fought mono. And we thought I got it from a certain girl to the point I couldn't play in that All-Star game. And like, people tormented this girl so bad that they moved to like Texas. And then later I found out that that wasn't what it was from. This article came out in the paper and it said, I still have it at my mom's house, Gardner gets a game during busy summer. And apparently, which I didn't notice at the time, but I had played in 85 registered AAU games that summer.
yeah.
And that's what made me sick.
And
Because
that's-
I wasn't
yeah, and that's
getting
what-
enough floor.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yes, and like you said, that 82 game in the NBA, that's gotta kill. Because I played 85, but I was only 14, 15.
How many games did you play regular for in college in basketball?
Basketball?
30, like, yeah, if you're not counting tournaments.
It's not counting tournament.
Like
Yeah,
30,
like 30
I think it's
something.
37.
Yeah, it's 30 something.
But still, like,
That's a lot. That's actually like,
Listen,
that's a different transition.
And then you're traveling and doing
Yeah,
with your
just-
school
and that's
and all
what I'm saying,
that.
like,
and the short practice is 3 hours, and you got individual workouts
Yeah.
and all these
yeah,
other
like,
crazy
what
excuses.
was he playing in high school? Like 20 games, 20?
Yeah, 24 top.
Yeah,
in high
24.
school.
Then
Yup.
you go to college, you're playing 30 something. All of a sudden, you go to the NBA, and you're playing
80
82.
something. Yup, yeah,
So-
50 in the clip.
Aren't the periods like it's in halves, right?
Yeah.
So
Right,
what's the-
half.
how many minutes is it?
High school is 4 8-minute quarters.
Yeah.
College, you get 2 20-minute halves.
Yeah.
Then you go to the league and you get 4 12-minute
So you're
quarters.
talking 48 minutes.
But that's the
coming
thing,
from,
like,
what, 30
40
minutes?
before in
Like, I have
college.
no
Oh,
doubt.
yeah,
like,
40.
Then,
Because
yeah,
after
32
Wagner,
in high school.
after Wagner was out of the league, he played for he played for some league that played in Life Center,
Okay.
and he was still a beast.
Of course he is.
But he couldn't handle. And that's what people don't get. Like they crack jokes on him in the group. But I'm like, he's still a beast. He just his body couldn't handle 82.
Yeah, that's different.
Just like a player retires from the NFL, you can still come back and beast on one game, but you can't handle 16
So you
games.
know what
Yeah.
I know you should probably utilize now because it's starting to grow. Try that big three.
That's true. That's true. The more, yeah, the big
Think
three is a
about
real
that.
thing. It's a real thing.
Juan,
Think about that.
Wagner, you should capitalize
Yo,
on
I
that.
didn't even think about that.
Put
I
that
just
out
seen
there
him not
right
too
now.
long ago, too. If I see him again, when I see him again, I'm gonna say something.
I
If you
got
see him
a-
again,
I got a squad.
tell
Why
him,
not?
hey, we gotta talk to him.
Yo, real talk. That
We
would be-
gotta bring him to the studio and we're
man,
like, yo, big
that
three.
would be hell.
Big three.